Monstrology is the study of imaginary monsters, like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and that one. Monstrology is also a social game of imagination and deduction, published by Middle Brain Games and designed by me. Just like a lot of games, it starts with a bunch of players sitting or standing around a table, and you should be able to figure out how to play in about 5 minutes. The core of the game is entirely cooperative, which means everybody's on the same team. Each round, one player is the subject and the other players are the investigators. The subject has an imaginary monster, and the investigators are trying to figure out which one it is. So here's how to play through one round of the game, which takes about 5 to 10 minutes. First, the team chooses one out of the 12 taxonomy boards for the round. For example, there are boards that identify a monster's favorite foods, its vulnerabilities, its personality, and its skills. We'll use the skills board as an example. Second, the subject draws the top card of the monster deck without showing the other players. This is the subject's imaginary monster for the round. Thirdly, the subject uses their imagination to fill out the taxonomy board to reflect their monster. In this case, if you were the subject, you would need to rate how skilled you think your monster would be at the 6 categories on the board on a scale from 1 to 5.
Hooray.
So next, the subject randomly deals out some more monster cards from the deck, face down, and shuffles them up with their own monster card. Fifth, the investigators flip over all of the monster cards and study them. Their job is to discuss all of the monsters to try to determine which monster belongs to the subject. The only information they have at this point is the selections the subject has made on the taxonomy board, so they have to decide which monster they think is good at soccer and knitting but bad at house guarding. Essentially, they have to use both sides of their brain at once, imagination and deduction. Now eventually, each investigator needs to choose the monster they think belongs to the subject. They don't necessarily need to agree on just one monster. If they end up disagreeing, they can all choose individually which monster they think is correct, and the team gets 1 point for each investigator who guesses correctly. But if all of the investigators guess correctly, they get double points. So the game encourages collaboration. And that's it. That's the game. Most people will figure it out after a single round. You can adjust the difficulty level by adding or subtracting monster cards from the set. So it's very easy to learn. It works for both kids and adults. But every game is definitely different, and it's difficult to master. Lastly, the base game is fully cooperative, but if you're someone that prefers a little competition to spice things up, you can add competition to Monstrology simply by dividing the group in 2 and playing in teams. The teams take turns playing through rounds, just like I described, and compete against each other for the most points after a certain number of rounds. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for giving this game a chance.